All right, so I have a real treat for everybody for the next probably 8 or 10 videos. Right, I'm gonna try to do some shorter ones. I made them a decision to go through my collection of mainlines, if you will. Honestly, mostly it was a lot of the Silver Series cars and a lot of the nicer mainline sets. The ones that aren't labeled like a Silver Series car. But I pretty much kept everything that has tampos front and rear. And if there's a handful of them that don't, but they were just cars that I really wanted to let y'all see. I wanted to keep for myself in my loose collection. And we're going to start off, like, probably the first one we'll do now will be, I think it's like a Japan Origin set. I think it's from 22 or 23. And then the 90's Street Scene set, which I think is from 22 or 3. I'm not real sure. We'll go through it on the cards. And then I'll start each video off, kind of let y'all know, what I'm doing with kind of getting rid of everything in cards and getting rid of everything out of clamshell protectors. Currently the only thing I want to keep. And the clamshell is going to be probably like a Target Red and a Zamac. I think I still have a tote full of all my Porsches. Those are probably going to eventually get, jailbroke, if you will. Just because the whole tote thing, even though it's in climate controlled storage and all that, it was just really, it was getting where I couldn't enjoy these things, right? And there's a lot of these cars that I really wanted to open up. And I just decided, no, I'll put them in clamshells and put them away in storage, and, I'll just hang on to them for a while. But that's not really the style of collecting I want to do. There's a handful of things I want to keep, in a package or a blister, but we'll get to it. I'll pause the video. I just wanted to kind of give you all face-to-face what's going on and what I'm doing. And I'll probably do this for the same video that I upload, just to let everybody know what's going on with my bulk, mainline and mid-grade collection, if you will. So, like I said, let me pause the camera, and I'll get Colt to pause the camera for me, my youngest son. And we'll go through the 90's Street Scene cars and these Japan Origins. I think there's the Japan Origins a full set, but I am missing the Civic out of these. And I've looked, and I've maybe seen like one, and they wanted like $16 for it. Some good premiums don't even cost that much. So, but I do want the car, so next time I see it, I'll just buy it. I'll pay the scalp fee just to have it. But these are really nice cars in the package, and they got a lot of detailing on them. So we'll go over that here in just a minute, and we'll bust them out of jail and see what they got to offer. My cameraman kind of ejected the scene on me. Colt, can you pause this video for me so I can pan the view? All right, we're back. So we'll do the 90's Street Scene first. There's only, like I said, 4 out of the 5 of those cars. Apparently the Civic is car number 5, so this is car number 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first one's going to be a 96 180SX Nissan. White, black treatments. And just so we're talking about, it's this car, the EG Civic. So I'll have to get it, and I'll have to open that one up, but I always liked these because the way they were, but what really turned me on to keeping a bunch of these nicer mainlines, Silver Series cars, if you will, is they do have detailing front and rear. And they have a little bit nicer wheel, stuff like that. So let's get this thing out and see what's what. The premium 180SX Nissan and the Fast and the Furious line is a really nice car. I told a little short story about it. So I'm wondering how good of an example this is going to be from the lower tier, if you will. And again, I'm only cutting these things off because if I just tear them off when I go back post video to write all the information on my baggies that I keep in my storage or in my jammer cases, I need to be able to tell what's what. So, all right, here's a up close. Got the G-Ready on there. I'm not sure who Ray's is or what it is, but Like I said, they got tampos on the front. Nice, you know, little tampo lenses. This one's the same way. Headlights halfway up, halfway down. Detail on the back. You know, paint could be a little bit better, but, you know, for a mainline considering, it's not bad. There's the chassis undercarriage. Very, very little. But it's better than being totally flat, right? And again, you know, cars like this, if I ever do decide to do some customs, or, you know, whether I do it myself or I have someone do it, these would make really good, great candidates. You know, they're already, the hard work's already done by Mattel, right? So this would be a good one to do a wheel swap on. You know, put a little chrome paint on the tailpipe in the rear. You know, put a Tampo license plate that's custom on there. If you want to, you know, if you separate it for the wheel swap, you could do, you know, seat treatments and, you know, stuff on the inside for the steering wheel. But anyway, that's car number 1 out of this set. We'll put it over here. Not totally out of frame, but a little bit. Number 2 is a Lancer. It doesn't say what year it is, but it's a Lancer Evo 6. I really like the front of this car. I'm sure it'll look that much better out of the package. So again, 90s street scene. Let's see the copyright on these things. I meant to try to confirm that before I hit record on here. And obviously I'm not seeing it anywhere, but I want to say these are like 22 or 23 that these are on the shelves. Not seeing it. Looks like it's an international card, maybe, possibly, sorta. I don't know. Somebody tell me. I can't tell the date on it. Anyway, back to the car. This, like I said, this is car number 2. This one was, I wouldn't say it was the nicest one out of the bunch as far as the detailing, but definitely a little bit nicer than that Nissan. Rally Art, Toyota tires. See, look at that. That's like a premium, man. I mean, if you were looking at this thing on camera or even in a display, oh, I'll tell you one thing. If you had rubber tires in this thing, you would probably mistake it for a premium. Just to how nice it is. There's the rear. It's got the Mitsubishi Lancer on the right side like they all have. Nice spoiler wing. Very nice. Really nice bright paint. I mean, it's just no flaws. Really nice. Not blotchy, not orange peely, just legit. Undercarriage on this one is... So apparently they're putting a lot of blank space over here so they can get all the information from this series, because the 180SX is the same way. You know, a little detail on the front, a little detail on the rear, but pretty much flat in the middle to be able to get everything on there, which is fine. Still a nice car. I'm glad I took this out of the package. Let's do them like this. All right, car number 3 is the 300ZX twin turbo. Not sure what year it is, but you know, somewhere in that 94 to 96 time period. Really nice color on this car. It's like a light metallic green. Still think the Lancer is probably going to be the nicest one out of the set as far as detailing, but let's see what the 300 looks like. Paint looks real good. Nice clear applique. They're always a little bit rougher on these T-tops. I know that orange car that I have that is actually a 5-pack car. I was trying to figure out where I got that car, and it was in a 5-pack. So kind of a 20 video later edit, if you will. But this one's nice. And that other 300ZX doesn't have the detailing on it this car does. So not crazy about these wheels. I really feel they could have done a little bit better choice of wheels on this car, but again, this will make a great candidate for a wheel swap. Or, you know, it doesn't look too bad the way it is. It's just not really my favorite. The Lancer's kind of spot on. I mean, they nailed it with that one. But nonetheless, paint's nice. You know, again, there's the detailing on the rear. 300ZX. Got a little wannabe Tempo license plate. Front looks really good. Interior, you can kind of see in here from the windshield. Nothing crazy, but I'll take it. It's acceptable, and then some. All right, car number 4 is the Celica GT4 95 model, silver. Like I said, obviously we don't have the Civic, but that's all right. I'll eventually get it, and we'll open it up. And I'm not much of a completionist as I started out being, but there are some sets I just do like having. And this is definitely one of them because I can relate to every single one of these cars growing up. Wow, really nice casting. A lot heavier than all of them, actually. Again, from that far away, you'd think this thing was a premium, you know. Like a bright metallic silver. I love these cars. I just remember seeing them, reading articles on them. Very impressive. Nice, like I said, nice paint finish. Probably about as good as the Lancer and the 300ZX. They kind of slack a little bit on the 180, if you ask me, compared to these other three. I'm curious to see what the hatchback. Oh, we got double die cast. That's why it's heavier. So, food for thought. Car number 4, the Celica GT4, is a double die cast variant. Very interesting. Very nice. That's why it's just a little bit heavier. All right. So there's those 4. And this is the full set of 5. I don't think I put these in. No, I did. So this one, I feel like it has a name of this series. And I could have swore it said like Japan Origins. I know they had that in the premium set. But, you know, on the back, you look on the card and you don't really see anything. But we're just going to call it the Cherry Blossom cars because that's basically what's in the background, right? So, first off, it's like a 98, yeah, Honda Prelude. This is definitely a car of upbringing. This was a super popular car next to the Integra. The style on these things, they were just, it didn't matter if it was stock, it was modified, it was a, you know, a full-blown, you know, tooter is what we used to call them. But still a very nice car. And it's a Honda, right? So we'll get this little red Butte out of the package. Again, car number 1. I was curious to see if there was a year run for these cars on the back. And so it says 2021 on here. So there's a pretty good chance that it's 2022. But who knows? I'm sure if everybody's wanting to be that critical and correct me, please drop in the comments. Paint is super nice. Looks like it's got some little boo-boo up here. But overall, really, really nice. Really shiny. Trying to get y'all a little glare shot in there. There's your front detailing. Definitely could be worse. Not bad. The rear looks really good on this car too. Got the Prelude on the bumper cover. Dual overhead cam VTEC. I love the license plate. Look at that. I mean, they didn't have to do that. Very, very nice. See, that's why I wanted to get these things out, because my loose collection is pretty nice, especially in the JDM cars. And this is just a small portion of what I'm adding to opening up the JDM stuff. I've got, I'm looking at probably 12 Hondas, mostly Civics. Some of them are, I think there's an S2000 or 2 in there. That'll be a real treat for another video. And I know I've got some other stuff, but I was going through all these, you know, just getting rid of a bunch of them, selling them, and offering them up for trade. And there was just, I knew there was going to be 40 or 50 cars I just couldn't part with. And I knew it was going to be probably this set and this one for sure. But I didn't really realize how detailed these were. So 90 Acura NSX is this one here. Car number 2. This looks to be just like the other casting that I have. You know, in this model, I'd like to see if it's... I don't think they have tampos in the rear. I know I've got the white one, the yellow one, the blue one, I think a red one. I'd be curious. It may have the Acura logo, you know, tampo on the front. I know it has the same exact wheels. I feel like this might just be a bonus throw-in from the mainline department, and then they added this right here. But maybe not. I have to go back and check. Nice paint. Interiors are really nice on these cars. This is no exception. I do like on the NSX where you can basically see the entire interior. Not totally accurate. This should technically be black. But rear looks really good. Again, you could touch these, you know, tailpipes up a little bit. Undercarriage could be a little bit better. But, you know, from afar, it fits the part like the rest of them. It looks like the car. The only thing I hate about how they do this casting is they have a different size wheel in the rear. And if a memory serves me right, I don't think that was actually the way they came. I could be wrong, but I could have swore they had the same size wheel, front and rear. Maybe not width, but as far as diameter. So. Car number 2's at the Blister. In his parking spot on the card. This is an all-time favorite car of mine. I love the Miata. Very underappreciated vehicle by a lot of people in its time, and now they've made, you know, quite the comeback in the past 2 decades. But this is a 91. I'm not crazy about the wheels they put on this one, just like a bunch of the other castings, but it was really detailed front and rear. So again, car number 3 out of this set. And I think it's cool that there's a real cult following for these cars, whether they're, you know, stock, road race, setup, you know, full, you know, JDM import, if you will, you know, motor swap. They put LS in these things, 5 liters, and man, they're fast regardless. You know, you put a V8 in these things, it's like a little rocket. But oh, look at that, Hot Wheels, J imports. See, that's a nice little Easter egg, you know, Yokohama, little badge on the side. Interior looks pretty good. God, I hate that. Why? Look at that casting, man. Looks like a molten blob of plastic hanging off that steering wheel. Oh, okay, whatever. But they did touch this model up, you know, from the standard variant, because I'm almost positive that all my other Miatas that are not this one, or in this casting, not the one that's newer gen with the wing, they don't have tampos on the rear. Or any detailing for that matter. Could be wrong, but again, nice touch. Beautiful color on this car. Paint's real nice. I don't know why I keep setting these cards way over here. I apologize for that. Trying to make sure these things don't drag out too long. Alright, last 2 we have the Toyota 2000 GT. I'll talk a little bit about this car. If you don't know anything about this car, and you're curious what all the fuss is about, do a little research on it. This machine is very impressive, and just such a beautiful, sleek car for its time. You know, this is a real driver. I mean, a real enthusiast. If you ever drove one of these cars, you'd be hooked, right? This one wasn't too great as far as the detailing, but I just could not break this setup. We'll get to that one in a minute. I know there's no detailing on the rear. I think this one was okay. It had details on the front and the rear, but I like the color of it. It would be something that would be very fitting on this car, you know, in its time period. Probably okay that they color match the base to this, but you can kind of see that there's not really the detail that these other cars have. Again, I think the 90s street scene set was a little bit better detailed. The Prelude is definitely the star of this show, out of this set, if I have to be honest. This is still a nice car. It's better than the other I have a few of these in the other mainline runs that are older, you know, and they're pretty plain Jane, but this is really the only thing you're getting. But still very nice. And then last we have the Datsun Fairlady black. Couldn't tell you what year this was. But I was telling y'all this one didn't have any detailing on the rear, which is such a disappointment. But I could literally take a little bit of red paint, and you know, I need to do some research on the photos of these cars and kind of mimic, you know, how this car would look. This car would definitely be a lot better with a wheel swap. Terrible choice of wheels. Terrible. But the front's really nice. You know, I love the way these cars have that bulge and those, you know, that wide body stance. And I can't remember. Oh, I always get Datsun and Nissan mixed up of what years they were this and that, because there's a whole history lesson on Datsun and Nissan. But still a really nice car. Side exit exhaust. These cars are real drivers too. I mean, you want to put one in the corners and move your insides around. This is one to do it in. Nice paint, real nice black. Really nice example, but this car will eventually get a wheel swap for sure. Because it is just not the flavor of cake I want to put on my fork. But, all right, there's those. We'll close this one out. I'm probably going to do Stars and Stripe next and probably do the Mustang set with it from, I believe it's 25. So I'll get y'all a shot of this because I think I'm zoomed in slightly just so y'all can kind of see. Well, not really the best shot, but again, the 90's street scene, car 1, 2, 3, 4, missing the Civic, and then this is JD Imports, or I'm not sure what Hot Wheels calls it, but J Imports will just say car 1, car 2, car 3, car 4, and car 5. So, thanks for watching Diversified Diecast. I will try to crank out a couple more tonight, some quick ones like this, get them uploaded and drop some more content. You guys enjoy your night, and we'll see you on the next one.